Hello and welcome to another episode of The Best Automatic. I'm your host, Captain Pervert.
And I'm your host, Captain Gorgeous.
So, previously on our latest episode, I mentioned about the most famous iconic person. Yeah, Adolf Hitler. Yeah, I didn't mention Jesus, but, you know, Adolf Hitler is #1 for the most evil person for creating, well, having the excuse of having the Kurvenwagen. Sounds aggressive, doesn't it? And scary.
And don't forget that we did our speed trials with the Fiat 500 and the VW Beetle as well on our test track, done by the one and only tame racing driver, but not so tame, Argin.
Yeah, to see if he has a really fast time round our test track. So moving on to our little small garage of small vehicles, reasonably priced as well. So we got our Fiat 500 Beth, to the most familiar sight of all. How much you can camouflage it, you are always going to recognise that shape wherever you go.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it is a very most common vehicle of all.
So, let's start at the humble beginning. Ferdinand Porsche was born in 1875 at the Czech Republic, as most people will refer.
His father was a blacksmith, that ancient art.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, obviously he had to work at his dad's blacksmith because his older brother died when he was 14. So he had to give up school and work at his dad's firm. And there he was, looking at these stupid hammers and banging metal, that he says, why can't I create some electric power tool? That will make life a lot easier.
He didn't do that, did he?
Well, he was fascinated with electricity, especially with the light bulbs and all that lot. He hooked up his dad up to the mains and a generator, and gave him electric light bulbs.
Right.
Then his dad sent him to school at Heigenberg, a technically encouraged school for engineering.
Okay.
Thinking that his son might create the electric hammer instead of being a blacksmith being boring, or something like a bleeding handle grinder to make life a lot easier.
He didn't think that, did he? Surely.
Well, I'm sure that one thing, he got sick and tired of him, so he let him pursue his own future by sending him out the door and he letting him venture out in the real world.
So how old was he when you kicked him out?
18 years old, back in 1893. He works for a company called Bella Edgar and Co, right? An electrical firm in Vienna.
Right.
And he created the electric hub wheel.
Wow.
Then he decided to quit working for him for 5 years and work for a coaching firm what had decided to make motor cars. Giacomo Lorna and Corner he worked for, and that's where he designed his first car, electric car, the P1, and it was designed for racing, but it only did 21 miles per hour. So he created the Lorna Porsche electric mobile, a hybrid, by putting a combustion engine in it, and that did 36 miles per hour, but its range wasn't that really good as well because it's an electric car.
Wow, this guy's a genius.
Then he moved and worked for another company called Astro Daimler, and he created the his first car, the Astro Daimler Maya, back in 1908. Then he made a sportier version, the Astro Daimler Model 27-80.
Wow.
It was an impressive vehicle back in 1910, right? This vehicle got up to 85 miles per hour, going into stiff competition in the Prince Henry trial races, and it just won it to second to third. I mean, this impressed the ladies and the men that, you know, he became a professor in the company after that.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden, you know, it was what, 1914, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the First World War kicked off, right? And that's where his career started, where he started tinkering with aircraft. I mean, we all know the Germans had the Red Baron and all that technology. And then there's this young man called Adolf Hitler was working for this artillery equipment, all crafted by Astro Daimler, right? I mean, Mr. Porsche made the M17 Goliath tractor.
Wait on, he wasn't in infantry, he was a dispatch runner.
Well, yeah, but he would have seen all that equipment, surely.
Yeah, but didn't Hitler get promoted from private to corporal?
Well, yeah, he only got that because, the regiment of was called List. I mean, named after, you know, the commanders. I mean, a lot of them got killed, didn't they? About 75% against the British. I mean, there were only about 725 of them left or something. And there were 25 officers, and there were only 4 of them left. So everybody sort of got promoted, and you know, but even Hitler didn't get no control of being like control of actual soldiers and that.
Oh yeah.
You do know I might be showing images of tanks and stuff because we might be talking about vehicles.
Well, yeah, but it's a part of history, isn't it?
I know it's a part of history. I'm trying to talk about Ferdinand Porsche, aren't I?
Yeah, but what about that funny, whiny little man? I mean, the one what lost his dog, the one called Foxhole, that English terrier.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, don't want to talk about that, do I? Want to get on about the vehicles? I've been running out of bleeding footage, won't I soon?
You mean images, don't you?
Yeah, photos.
Why are we seeing Italian armoured vehicles crashing?
Because that's what they did.
Anyhow, did you know that Hitler was a baby?
Oh, very funny. Anyhow, back to Ferdinand Porsche. The war ended and he got back to what he was good at.
What? Making tin can armoured vehicles? I mean, it's like the ones I'm going to do for my video with the Fiat Bath, you know, with the Italian vehicles, what they had with the kept on rolling over. Wait on, that is my images you've been using. That's off that movie, The Lion of the Desert, 1980.
How do you use your images? Because you keep interrupting me.
Yeah, well, that's not my fault, is it? There's loads of facts to mention.
Yeah, like Ferdinand Porsche. Oh, let's get back to it.
Yeah, well, hurry up then.
So the First World War ended in 1918. So Ferdinand got back to work making racing cars. And he created the Astrodiner Sasha, and he made it a little bit shorter and smaller, not to make it lightweight or anything, but this vehicle actually won 43 races out of 53.
So technically it lost 10 races.
Well, yeah.
Did you know that Hitler was an artist?
Oh, give up, man.
And did you know that Hitler won the Iron Cross not once but twice?
He didn't win it. He got it for nothing, didn't he? It's something. Hell, I want to get back to 1922, right, about the racing.
Yeah, but did you know that Adolf Hitler had one ball?
No, he had two eyeballs. I mean, yeah, he got affected by the mustard gas, and he knew he partially went blind and all that lot.
No, he had one ball.
Now, serious, right, let's get back to Ferdinand Porsche, alright? So, in that year, he moved to Stuttgart, right, capital of Germany, right, and he got promoted as his firm merged, right, with Ben&C, right, with Daimler Benz, right, creating that. So you can understand his next car would have been the most famous one of all, yeah, the Mercedes-Benz SS. Aye, this vehicle was a pin-up for your wall on your poster back in 1928. I mean, it had a 7.1 litre 6-cylinder engine, and it came in two varieties, 200 to a 300 horsepower vehicle. I mean, the slowest did about 190 kilometers, and the 300 235 kilometers.
Right.
Then they created the Trossi Roadster, and that was a popular car. But unfortunately, you know, Mr. Porsche, you know, quit Mercedes, worked for another car firm with a depression on that. It just went bust. So he created his own car company. I mean, he wanted to give something to his son, and we all know of the history of that, how that turns out. But at the humble beginnings, now we're coming to the dark times, right? We're all going to be mentioning now Adolf Hitler, because Hitler had a vision that he wanted all the German people to actually physically own a private vehicle of their own. I mean, vehicles were just known for the rich, but this was a people's car. And not even that, they were allowed to have the Autobahn, I mean a road where you can just go as fast as you can, and any common person could have this. I mean, this was from the depression of the First World War, and this guy's giving people to become gearheads.
But the guy never learned how to drive. That's how evil he is.
Well, yeah.
He's a bleeding hypocrite, isn't he? Never learning how to drive, and he's creating these roads.
Well, he's a bit of a weird showman, right? In the German Grand Prix, he put up whoever won gets a contract and 250,000 rush marks as well.
So what was the contract?
For the people's car.
So who won it then?
What do you mean who bloody won it? It's bleeding obviously your Ferdinand Porsche. That's where we got the VW.
Right, I didn't know.
No, you don't know much. I mean, it was bleeding obvious what I was building up to. Anyhow, we're going to move on and mention our challenge. Now, the greatest thing we're going to do is show you with using this vehicle. Well, as you all know, it comes from the VW Beetles PES. Now, we're going to this location. As you all know, it's a bunker. Yeah, on GTA 5, the old classic game. So, but you'd be wondering what's missing in here. Yes, them strange little electric vehicles. Now, this is our challenge. Can we fit through these iron bollards? And obviously, you can tell by using the VW bus, we can't get through. Now, where does this vehicle originate from? Well, you'll be thinking, yes, we are seeing these little vehicles, what should be in GTA, as our producers won't buy.
Because they're a waste of money.
And that's what Volkswagen did as well. They created their own little vehicle. That formed into the VW bus later on. But at the humble beginnings, as I should say, when Ferdinand Porsche got that contract to build the people's car with his team of engineers, they created 3 prototypes of the Type 32.
Didn't they call it the Type 1? That would have been easier.
Well, yeah, but Hitler was very precise about this vehicle. He wanted to be very fuel efficient. I mean, 31.4 miles per gallon.
That's impressive for today's standards, that.
He had torsion bar suspension and an air-cooled cylinder engine too, but they had to make it into a 4-cylinder.
Right, that sounded really complicated.
Well, it is. It is a quite complicated vehicle. So when they host it to Hitler, I mean Ferry Porsche, or Ferry Porsche, is Ferdinand's son, drove Hitler about when they opened the new factory.
Right.
And they want to call it the KDF workers, because Hitler wanted to call the KDF wagon, right? That was like abbreviated for the strength through joy.
Right, okay.
And Hitler was specifically wanted the car to be really cheap for the average person to buy, the lower class. So it was a price of 990 rank. So it's like just below 1,000 rank.
Right.
So the best way to buy that was pay it in installments on stamps.
Stamps, not money.
No, right. You put it in this bag, right, and that covered your insurance and all that lot. But then when you get your last stamp, you get the vehicle. But you got to go all the way to the factory and collect it, because they won't deliver it without charging you and that. And the only problem you may have is picking which car it is, because they all was the same colour, because you know it was like a grey blue colour, because people sold things in black and white back in them days.
Well, yeah.
I mean, Hitler might have had the factory built next to rivers and canals for people to get there with easy access with all that engineering work going on. I mean, he got the idea with Henry Ford because that's how he got most of his vehicles shipped out to people and all that lot.
And Mussolini thought the same as well.
What do you mean?
Well, with the people's car, that's why. Because that's one thing I want to get on with.
Well, yeah, fair enough, Mr. Captain Gorgeous. You have been waiting nice and patiently, but there's so much history to talk about. The VW Beetle, the people's car.
Yeah, well, don't forget Mussolini had his own people's car with the Topolino. Obviously, I'm using a Fiat Bath because I'm in stiff competition. So, going through the bollards, this is what we're trying to explain about the bunker as before. Yeah, we've got them little electric vehicles you could pay for, but why would you? Because having a small car can get you through these bollards, as it's easily demonstrating. I mean, there you are, you can just drive around, and this is why I think the Italians created that small car.
But the car is only a two-seater, isn't it, the Topolino? I mean, Hitler insisted that, Ferdinand Porsche creates a car what can fit 2 adults and at least 3 children.
Well, yeah, and he did accomplish that, but the Fiat Bath does that now.
Well, yeah, but at the humble beginning, with the your original Fiat 500, and the little Mickey Mouse cute-looking vehicle, it might be beautifully rounded off and all that lot, looking nice and cute, but it wasn't really practical.
Well, your vehicle wasn't really practical, was it? I mean, yeah, it might have 4 seats, but it didn't have really a proper boot space.
Well, neither did yours, did it?
Well, it near enough had one, so there's always going to be a difference about comparing both vehicles. I mean, maybe that's how it was with Mussolini and Adolf Hitler to settle their differences.
I mean, this is one thing about using your Fiat 500, really, that it's too fat. I mean, yeah, it got through for the first set of bollards, but no, it can't get through. So if that was in a war, because that's what Hitler did most of the time, he ended up hiding in a bunker, and that's what we're doing it for. This is our bunker on this classic game, GTA. So I'd like to get on to talk about the history.
That's unfair, I won't mention mine.
But I've got to mention all the history of what Hitler had planned. With Strength Through Joy, it was a leisure company. I mean, it for the middle classes, but they were building like cruise ships to bring tourism in, and the lower class people, well, they were driving their VW Beetles, because there was 170 people who ordered that car.
And did they get it?
No.
Maybe they didn't collect enough stamps.
No. A car company called Tatra in Czechoslovakia went and sued Germany.
Right.
So Hitler kicked off and demanded Ferdinand to tell him who his designs are right. And Ferdinand said, the complete opposite. I have the greatest engineering skills.
Then what happened?
So Hitler said, right, if you're a good engineer, prove it to me. I want to fight him in court, so you create the VW Beetle into a fighting machine. So Ferdinand proved to Hitler he could do it.
Then what happened?
Well, obviously the bleeding invaded Poland, didn't they?
Why Poland?
Well, because they might have got the maps wrong or something. I don't bleeding know.
What do you mean you don't bleeding know?
Well, it's loads of history. Now, we might as well move on.
Yeah, you're avoiding the question, aren't you?
Well, no, but if you do your history, there's a lot more reasons why they invaded Poland as well. So, we all know in the Second World War, it was very popular for bankers, right? And we all know that you've been seeing this now, that we're going to be doing the wits test against these bollards. Obviously, there's some GTA vehicles you can buy, but why would you when you can invest in getting yourself a VW Beetle?
You looks like the gimp is struggling with that. Oh, no it ain't.
See, it was just lining itself up, didn't want to scratch its camouflage, you see.
It's camouflage, it's an army vehicle. It's like that, is that what happened with Germany, you know, when they were declared war? And using VW Beetles, they were worried about scratching their camouflage paint then, were they?
Well, no, but, you know, I mean, the gimp's not really paying attention, is it? It's bumping into things and all that lot, but no, it's got to line itself up.
You're just making excuses. So, why is the Beetle rounded off for?
So, I think in technical reasons, it could have been because, you know, we're in a bunker and you know people wear helmets, you know, to stop you banging your head and maybe bits of stone falling on your head and hurting you. Maybe the Beetle was designed because of a helmet, not because of aerodynamics and Hitler saying, you know, nature, a bleeding beetle. Well, what can you do with a beetle? It's stamp on it. So, you know, but yeah, I think, you know, the Germans were well known for their German helmet.
That one with the big spike on it on top.
Well, yeah, it's a First World War helmet, but it's not that one what you're thinking with the spike on its head. It's the other one, right? Because that is quite a really good popular helmet, right?
And you're saying this is based on a VW Beetle?
Well, no, but I'm saying the reasons why things could be rounded off on the VW Beetle, because it's like a mobile air raid shelter, isn't it?
Air raid shelter?
Well, think about it. Debris hits it and it just rolls off the edge of it, doesn't it? Now, that's just proven that your Fiat 500 is a lot fatter on my VW Beetle. My Beetle's just going through them bollards like, oh, and that's what it was designed for.
What? Sneaking around and hiding in bunkers like Adolf Hitler did in the end, didn't he?
Well, yeah. So, we're back to the military of the VW Beetle and the excitement of it all, that I should save it for another episode. So, on that squash banana,
it's time to end the show.
Hey, oh my bit!
Well, you've been interrupting mine.
Alright, well, I'll leave it at that. Bye, everybody.